Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, when I was talking about Tom Street Place, this is landscaping, and I'm telling you, they have the pros in the business, and they can help you get it figured out. Also, Las Brisas, and I wanted to mention to everybody, Mother's Day is coming up. This would be the place to go for Mother's Day. You tell you, it'd be a wonderful thing, and great food, and people are they love this restaurant. It's one of the top-ranked restaurants anywhere around.
I'll make one suggestion. Make a reservation.
Definitely make a reservation.
Don't just show up with mom and then get
mom sitting out by the lake.
Wind up at Taco Villa
with Darvin Ham.
Taco
Bell.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to. All right. And then, but Las Brisas would be the place to go. And great atmosphere. It's out on 114th between Quaker and Slide. Yep, Quaker and Slide in the Falls. And really a cool atmosphere. They have a patio that's around a lake. It's just a cool deal. Las Brisas. All right, Mack Owen is here. Got a picture of you, Mack. There you are. That's kind of a weird. I got the other half of you on the other page.
Good.
But 2024 Hall of Fame Award. Mack is the president and co-owner of the Owen Group and Texas Sports Marketing, which we're involved with. But he was elected to the Mass Communications Hall of Fame, and that's a big deal. And Gary's going to show you the medallion that he won. It's really pretty, red and black, the deal that hangs around your neck, and the gold. That looks like real gold.
Well, possibly, but probably not.
Well, it's worth a lot if it's real gold. Anyway. Did you know you knew this was coming? Did you know you'd been selected?
Yes, they informed me in December.
Good. So did you make a speech?
I did.
How long did it last?
It was 7 minutes.
7 minutes, Mack.
Wow, they let you go that long. That's
a long
pretty
speech.
long for a.
How many people were inducted? Just you?
Just one each year.
Well, you could go 7 minutes.
Yeah. It was an awards dinner for media and communications. So they had 3 inductees to the what's called the Mass Communications Outstanding Alumni Group, which I got that in 2004, 20 years ago.
Oh,
so these were just 3, all graduates. One lives in Midland. I think one was in Houston, and one was in Dallas, maybe. So they did their part, and then Hall of Fame was last.
What made you think when you were a kid? Because I used to play basketball on 40th Street. We were across the street.
Yeah.
Whoever your neighbor was.
Yeah, the Miller family.
They played basketball back in the day when
That's
Debbie and I would go over there, and Mack and I would play. But what made you think advertising was your gig?
Well, I actually told this story that evening. So it has to do with cigarettes, which you're going to think it's funny. Do you guys remember the brand Tareyton?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so when I was 6 years old, we were driving to Washington D.C. and we went through Tennessee, where all my relatives live, grandparents, aunts and uncles. They're all from Tennessee. So we were visiting my uncle, and I fell down a flight of wooden stairs into a cellar. I was okay, but I had this gigantic black eye. So we were 3 or 4 days later. We were touring the Washington Monument, I believe. Yeah. And the security guy stopped me, and he said, "Sorry, sir, you can't go." No, he said something like, "I've seen you'd rather fight than switch," and that was the campaign slogan at the time of Tareyton cigarettes. And they had those ads with the guys with the black eye. So that's kind of where it all began, if you can believe it. And so that was the golden age of television. So like you two guys, I watched television all the time, but I got more interested in the commercials than the actual programming. And by the time I was a senior in high school, I was already subscribing to a magazine called Advertising Age. It's the trade publication of the advertising industry. Started learning all about agencies and what they do and who the big agencies were worldwide, and just got hooked on it. And majored in it tag. Dr. Bill Dean was my first professor ever, mass communications class, and kind of the rest is history.
It is history.
You find it interesting that commercial that caused you to get into advertising? The product doesn't even exist anymore?
Well, it is interesting that particular brand has gone now. Marlboro and some of those are still big, but that brand's gone now. Because I was going to try and have a pack of cigarettes with me that night that I could show. I have some of their old classic ads, but I could not find a pack of cigarettes because, like you said, they don't make them.
Terrytons.
But pack of Terryton. But y'all probably remember back in the late '70s, I believe it was. They pulled cigarette advertising off television for good. So remember back in the '70s, you could watch cigarette ads on television.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, they smoke in the shows. They were.
Well, they were smoking. Well, remember when we were in our 20s, they were still having cigarettes allowed on planes.
I'll never forget
only half of the plane.
Half the plane.
Yeah.
As
I'm watching Andy Griffith, and he's talking to Opie out on the porch one day. And Opie's just sitting there, Paul, and Andy's smoking and blowing smoke on Opie.
Yeah.
I'm like, this has changed.
Yeah, my mother was a smoker, and she was a Kent smoker. Her favorite brand was Kent.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're still around.
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think they are. There's not many left. I mean,
I remember your mom and dad well. They were great people. They really were great people.
They never really understood what I did for a living, which is kind of funny. I wish they were still alive because I'd like for them to have been there last week. But
to see you get this award.
Yeah,
you're the best in the business, in our opinion.
Well, there's some great people
some
around.
Great ones, and you've learned from some of the great
ones.
ones.
Yeah. I mean, I worked for Phil Price, the late Phil Price, for 7 years.
I just bring up Phil Price.
Yeah.
They used to sit behind us at church every Sunday. They'd sit behind us because they like to see the kids. And what a good fella he was.
Oh, yeah. Phil's great.
I think advertising, Mack Owen and Phil Price.
Well, I was with him for 7 years, and Ron Thomas was there as well. And Ron and I left at the same time, and Ron started his agency. At the time, the Thomas agency is now Artie Thomas, and then I started the Owen Group. So, but we both learned under Phil, and he was a great teacher. So,
that's awesome.
Owe a lot to Phil and Ron as well. And then great people around me all these years, great staff people.
That night of the May 11th tornado, which the memorial's right out here somewhere, right behind this building. But I was at home on 60th in Nashville, and I was writing in Debbie's annual. I was her yearbook. I was signing her yearbook.
I didn't know that.
And so then we heard there's a tornado, and so I went over to y'all's house.
Okay.
And your brothers, David and Don. They walked downtown. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
They walked downtown because they wouldn't let cars in.
Right.
And so they could see what was going on. And I remember that so vividly.
I think David tells the story that he ran the whole way.
He did. Well, he was skinny enough. He could probably do it. But
yeah, there was a guy across the street named Clark Sampson. You may remember him. His dad had a plumbing company here.
Yeah.
And his name was Army. But Clark and David and Don, I believe the three of them ran downtown to see what they could find. And so that was so I was in Boy Scouts then. That was a Boy Scout night.
The original looters.
Yeah. See what they could get.
Yeah.
Well, he did say see what they could get.
Yeah. Phil's and Company was smashed.
They were. I remember
that was Dan's Law's business.
Yeah.
Remember that big round building they had with all the lights?
All the glass.
It was gorgeous. Just smashed it to the ground.
Yeah.
That was May 11th, 1970.
Yes, sir. I remember it well.
But thank goodness, Lord, we hadn't had another one of those.
I know. That anniversary is next Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
And you dated Mack's sister.
Yeah.
Did the family
approve
of such?
They were so happy. It was so ridiculous.
I don't remember what they thought about dating. I'm sure it went well.
Is this like a 2-month deal, or is this like
it was about 6 months?
Okay.
Debbie
that's serious.
She was such a good girl. She realized quickly she probably I need to move on. But no, I was a good guy too.
Yeah,
we had a good time. That
Absolutely.
was a long time ago, Mac. Everything's a long time ago now. Have you noticed?
I have noticed that. It's funny. I was listening to y'all driving in talking about the days when we would go to the park and play baseball. I had the same thing. I lived on 40th, as you know, so I had Phil and Kent Gamble down the street. And Tony Hamby was on my street.
Yeah.
A bunch of the Whipples were on my street. And we would just go down to Wheelock and play. Just play baseball.
Get a game up.
It happened all the time. It was nothing. I mean, but you're right, Gary. It never. I don't know if I'd never see that. And I have a park next to my house now, and you'll see organized practice there, but I'll never see just a dad and a son.
Everybody's got games and practices all the time, year round. There's no time. Gary said there's no time to just do what you want to do.
You know, I was at a Little League game the other night because Ryan's son, Hank, is a 7-year-old, so he's playing baseball. And I just get a kick out of these kids these days walking around with these gigantic bat bags on their back, and they have 4 and 5 bats Why do you need 4 bats for a game? I've never understood that
All
one.
right, let me tell you parents something out there right now. My boy played, and he had an old bat to practice with, but he used the team bat. He didn't have 3 of his own bats, and he turned out fine. So you don't need to.
They're expensive.
And then the one kid that had 2 bats, he wound up.
Okay. I know.
There you go.
I know what happened to him.
Yeah, offing his mom.
It wasn't
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, same with Rhino. He never had all that stuff,
Had a
and
team
it turned out
bat.
okay. Yeah.
Remember, we had wooden bats when we were growing
Well,
up. And,
true.
and we had a little bag about 6 wooden bats.
Yeah.
And boy, if you broke one,
And
you
the
had
coach
to,
had them.
You had to hammer it.
You didn't have your own. The coach
Yeah.
had to.
Oh, the coach had the
Yeah.
bats.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
the bats.
Without a doubt.
It's a different world. I'm
is.
telling you.
It is.
And we were talking earlier. This guy texted in and said he didn't think baseball has any fire. I've noticed that in doing games that players don't seem to have the fire that they. And I think they're worn out. I think they're just worn out from playing.
I do worry about that with any kids these days playing every day or playing this travel baseball thing. But what I've learned, and you guys played at a very high level, but just watching Ron and LCU all those years, when you're winning, there seems to be fire and passion. When you're losing, there's no fire and passion.
No fire and
And there's
passion.
always chemistry issues if you're losing. I mean, it's funny how those things go together. I feel like
they do.
and all it takes is a couple of wins, and all of a sudden you're going to see fire and passion.
I hope so.
I feel like, but
No, and
I don't know the
everybody gets
answer.
along better when you're winning.
Exactly.
too. And the coach is a good person when you're winning. And when you're losing, he's not such a good guy.
This team is a mystery. It's really hard to figure this one out because they seem to have all the talent in the world.
And they're not bad. They're not a bad team
Oh, no.
at all. They
No.
could get it going and go into the right regional, and do well. I still think they got a chance to do well.
Oh, yeah. That's the great thing about baseball. It changes every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure got a
based on the
chance.
Just like all those runs last night that you got, none of them count today.
Yeah.
They're not going to count them.
So I fully think that we got a chance to win the series still.
Well, Mack, advertising is important. It's a big deal, and if it wasn't, you'd be broke. You wouldn't be. They wouldn't need you.
Well,
But it's a big deal.
It's changed a lot for my 40 years. I teach a class. That's part of why I got this because I've been teaching now for 30 years out there.
Oh wow!
So
How many days a week?
I just do one class,
Okay.
and I don't teach every semester. It's usually every other semester or every couple of years. when they
So
have
one class a week?
Yes, but I go twice, but it's one class, but we meet Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh okay.
Okay.
In a 1 hour class, hour and a half.
Hour 15, something like that.
Okay.
These
It's
days.
supposed to be an hour and a half.
In the
You
Mascom
let them
building.
go 15
In the
minutes
Mascom
early.
building, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a student the other day ask me something about what's changed. What have you seen change? And the biggest difference is we're all so digital now. So my staff is made up of 20-somethings and 30-somethings. I mean, because they understand digital. That's what they do every day. That's what they know. I'm still in the traditional way of doing things, but I hire people that really understand that stuff. So that's been one of the things that we've seen change over the years. It's just
I don't understand. I'm watching. I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at a story on sports or something. And all of a sudden, here's an ad for Leftwich Chapman flooring, and I'm going, well, how in the world they get that ad on? It's a national story, and here they are advertising.
Yeah, we do that. That's right. We do that for our clients exactly.
And you just
That's
plug
the
them
whole
in
point.
there.
Yeah, it's just part of the digital strategy that we have available to us now.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to know.
Yeah.
And Mack always helps us with the Super Bowl, and that's so fun when he does that because Mack has an insight to these Super Bowl ads, and a lot of people I think they're more important than the game.
Well, this year I think the cost this year was $9 million. I think for a 30-second spot. So just imagine I'm putting $9 million.
Explain that to me, Mack. How is that worth it? $9 million.
Well, this year is an interesting year. The ratings were up 15%. We had 125 million viewers, and that's the Taylor Swift effect. Totally. She had such an impact on this game.
Yeah.
And so we introduced we got a whole new group of audience this year in young women watching the Super Bowl because of Taylor and Travis and that whole thing. And so that's how you justify it, David. If you got 120 million people watching, $9 million is not much, actually. When
like a lot.
cost per viewer,
Yeah.
it's very efficient. Yeah, so
Our local spots were what, like 10,000
10,000
or something like that.
10,000 this year, I believe.
Did you plug in any of your people into that? Or
we had
did you
one
say,
we had one client that ran Super Bowl this year.
All right, you can say who it is.
Covenant Health.
Covenant Health.
They're
Well,
big.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a nice client to have, Mac.
They're a great
Good
client.
job.
Yeah, they're a great client.
Share some more of the people you work with, if you don't mind.
We've been with Covenant now several years. McGavick Nissan's been with me now 10, 12 years.
We love them.
Yeah, they're good people. We've done a lot now for Texas Tech over the years. There's Discovery Healthcare. Maloof's has been with me now for several years. So we've had the same group. We had Tony and the guys at Cardinals for a long, long time, about 20 years. And
well, here's one I remember, and I think you had something to do with this. Get a Kia, get a Kia, get a Gene Messer Kia, get a Kia.
Mac was the guy at Gene Messer for years and years. I think the office over there.
We handled them for about 30 years I worked with those guys.
Oh, wow.
Then they brought it in-house, didn't they?
In 2000, Mr. Messer sold it and to Group 1, and that kind of changed things. But for me, it was great because then Group 1 entrusted us with a lot of their accounts.
Yeah.
So at one time, I had 26 dealerships all over Texas. That was in 2012, and things were really good, and then they took everything in-house. So we lost it, but we survived that.
You
It's
moved
good
on.
news, yeah.
And Mac has Texas Sports Marketing, which he's developed to he does Lubbock ISD sports and radio broadcasting, and that's been good. And he also works with Lubbock ISD.
We do a lot with Lubbock ISD.
A lot.
We do. And we added Odessa, Ector County ISD, to our sports marketing team last year.
I didn't know that.
we're doing some. We're helping them with their stadium marketing. We do a little bit with Plainview ISD in their stadium. So a few people use us for that. It's not something we go out and actually promote.
They call and say, "How can
Word
we?"
of mouth.
Yeah, they just we got a call from the AD in Odessa, Tracy Borchardt, I believe is her last name, and so we've been helping her the last year.
Yeah.
So
The Borchards they used to coach here.
oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's not that Tracy.
Oh, okay.
Probably, but we put them in. They're with the gymnastics.
Okay.
But anyway, Mac's here, and see, this is just interesting to me. I don't understand. When they say $9 million for how long a spot?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, Cardinal Sports Center just outside the Loop on Slide Road. Everything sports, everything Texas Tech. They've got uniforms, they've got equipment, they've got fashion stuff for the ladies. They got a huge shoe department. They do lettering and everything. They do trophies. In fact, that's where we get our trophies for the Lubbock ISD Athletic Hall of Honor. They handle all of that for us and do a great job. So go see them at Cardinal Sports Center. It is a fun store to shop in, I will tell you that. You will have a good time. And R.C. Taylor Distributing Company, we had a chance to meet Patrick this week, the new head guy.
Good old boy.
Good guy. We really enjoyed our visit with him. And he's been there a long, long time, and now he's taken over kind of the run of the operation for Brad Kroom. And we're really glad he's there. And we asked him about the distance they'll go around, bring you those convenience store type items. And when I said, I told everybody it's 150 now, he goes, we'll go 200 for the right order.
Yeah.
You give us the right order, we'll bring it to you. And that's the kind of guy you want. And they're doing a great job at R.C. Taylor Distributing
All right,
Company.
here in a couple of minutes, we're going to have Brad King on from the Kentucky Derby because today is the Kentucky Derby day. But real quickly, I'm going to try to get caught up on some of these texts. I was in Ireland Airport beside a young soldier going to the Middle East several years ago. I asked him what he did, and he said, I fly drones. I asked him if he was any good at video games. He said, I'm very good. That was when we had Lubbock Christian winning the eSports National Championship. Here's a guy says, the Free family, who are on after Brad King, the Free family is the best. Met them several times, and I just love them all. True Tech family. All right, let's see. All right, here's a text that says, if your offense isn't good, you don't look like you have fire. Fire comes from base runners and success. And then let's see. We used to buy Gen Airs from Fields & Company for my dad's True Value hardware store. We're talking about Fields & Company getting leveled by the
I sold Gen Air. That was one of the things that I had.
I put together light fixtures.
Yeah, you worked there too.
Yeah, in the back, I'd put together light fixtures, and we'd go hang them
With Dino.
Hang them out on the deal with Dino, and then we'd sneak down and get Mr. Parker's donuts. But you had to sneak the donuts because those were for customers.
Yeah.
So let's see. Morning, fellas. Charlie Holt here. Jack Dale died in July 2011. Like you fellas said, that show started in 1992. He said Steve kept it going until he died. And then this texter says, I'd rather switch than fight, about the old Tarleton commercial. See, when we wait an hour before reading these things, they're not quite as timely. Let's see. Y'all were on the Texas Country Reporter deal 2 weeks ago. That was special. Next texter, I was in junior high and had my brother's wedding rehearsal dinner at Embers in 1973. Pretty good steaks. Well, that's going down memory lane there. Texter, NBA coaches, go ahead and call Brad. NBA coaches don't have the power they once had. The NBA players, okay, we read that one. And then we'll try to get the rest of these when we get through with Brad King. And once again, Brad King, I think they had a horse run yesterday. So
There's other races. There's Brad Moran right there.
Look at there.
He still works here.
Yeah. He brings his dog up here, too. I don't know if he has his dog with him today. We'd put his dog on the air if he'd bring him in here. All right, anyway, we talked about the Kentucky Derby a little bit earlier, but this is one of the big days in sports. I think even people that don't care that much about horse racing, at about 5:30 this afternoon, will be watching the Kentucky Derby. Is that something you'd want to go to?
Yeah, I'd like to go.
It's very festive, very, like I say, the flowers and the hats and it's just a lot of pretty women and all. Brad, are there any pretty women out there wearing pretty hats?
Oh, everybody's dressed to their best today for sure.
Well, tell us, what are you wearing?
I've got on my suit and got a pink tie on. And
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to dress it up for the day.
Do you have a hat? Do you have a hat on, Brad?
I do not have a hat on.
All right, I thought you might have a top hat or something.
That would be pushing it, wouldn't it?
Let me put it over the top.
Well, we know the women wear hats, fancy hats. Do a lot of cowboy hats there?
There are
Men?
a few always. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's always some coming through for sure.
All right, is it going to be a pretty day, or is it going to be
And there's a lot
muddy?
of barbershop hats too.
What is a barbershop
I
hat?
don't know what that is.
Yeah, I can't wear one of those.
What is it?
Oh, it's like a little round hat with a real flat bill on it, like a barbershop quartet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I believe I'd have to pass on that one.
Yeah.
Like a beanie.
All right, pretty weather today?
It is. It's real nice right now.
Okay.
The chance of rain seems to be going away, so looks like it's going to be a good day.
All right, did y'all have a horse run yesterday?
No runs today in the sixth race today.
Oh, how special is that?
Yeah, it's pretty. That's pretty cool. We've won some stakes here before, but never had anything on Derby Day itself.
What race are y'all in? What's it called?
Called the Derby City Distaff.
All right,
It's a Grade 1 race.
and the Derby is what race is it? What number?
I believe it's the 12th today.
Okay.
And y'all are running in the 6th.
That's correct.
All right, what's your name of your horse so we can bet large
Her
sums of
name
money
is
on
Flying Connection.
it? Okay. Do you think one day
She
they'll
ran
run out?
actually in the Kentucky Oaks last year.
Okay, I thought y'all had one out there last year, and the Kentucky Oaks was yesterday, right?
It was. That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So y'all moved up a day.
We did, yeah.
And next year, maybe the Derby.
Maybe. You just never know.
How long do these horses run? Do they get? What's their prime?
Like this one, she has run as a 2, 3, and 4-year-old. And, usually about 3 or 4 years is about the max.
Is there like a seniors division?
Yeah, that's called the claiming rank.
Oh,
Yeah, they're on their way out the door.
Yeah. They're headed to the farm before long.
yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
That's right.
Well, what's your thoughts on today's Derby? Because you're our Derby guy.
It's kind of a strange Derby. There's a lot of horses that come from off the pace this year, and there's not as much speed as usual. And so it's going to be a horse could definitely go to the front and just keep on going for sure today. And the fastest of the fast on the front end will be Fierceness for sure.
And that's number 17. And
That's correct.
that's
Yep.
dear to my heart, number 17. So put your money on Fierceness. number 17. Now, last night on Jimmy Fallon, the dog Sierra Leone won the Jimmy Fallon race, and so Sierra Leone might have a chance.
And it's 3-1.
Sure.
He's got the best odds. I mean,
he's the most accomplished and will be coming at the end for sure.
Well, and he won the Jimmy Kimmel dog race.
That's the the key.
That's the for sure test right there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Is it hard to come up with these names for horses?
You think they're going to run out at some point?
Oh no, they'll keep recycling them.
Dornock, is that the horse's name? Dornock.
There is in the one hole. That's right.
Yeah, Dornock.
Yep. That's right.
Isn't there a rule about you can't name the horse the same name as something for how long?
Yeah, like if they've become a stakes winner, it goes for like 20 years, and if it's just been used but the horse was not a stakes winner, it's like 10 years. And then if it's there are some horses that are permanently out of circulation. There's never going to be another Secretariat run.
Yeah. How many horses would fall into that category? I mean, just like
Man
a
of War.
handful. Yeah, Man of War.
Yeah,
31.
no, I mean there's probably several hundred that won't ever be used again for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at all the names of the horses, and they got them in their slot in their odds, and looks like that West Saratoga ain't very good. Grand Mo the first, they're both 50-1.
Yeah, I mean, but the Derby is one of those races. It's they're all really good horses. If they've made it this far, they're all
good.
shown that they are really good. That's right, and that's the reason you see so many long shots win this race. They're all really good. I mean, it's not an accident any of these horses win.
Okay, you're the owner of a horse that runs the 6th race. They apparently have a new $200 million paddock where observers can go watch the horses parade around. And
that's right.
And does this cost
I'm looking over it right now.
Does it cost $7,500 to $15,000 per person to go? Now, obviously, y'all didn't have to do that because you got a horse in it. But say Choice Woodman, he's there, and he wanted to go to that paddock area. Would it cost him that much money to go there?
Well, there's seating around that, and I think a table costs $7,500 for some of the tables that are around, probably like a 6-seat table for the whole day.
Okay, so you could go over there and watch them, and then you can go back in and watch them run the race and come back out to the paddock.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, $200 million paddock. Is that pretty fancy?
It is. It's almost like an amphitheater. It's real tall, looking down on top of the horses, and kind of reminds you of like the Colosseum in Rome or something like that. I mean, it's
oh my gosh,
staggered seating and pretty neat. A lot of people down in there for sure.
All right, now you got to win the race to go down and get your picture taken down there after the deal, right? What if you finish 3rd? Would you be happy if you finished 3rd?
Oh yeah, I mean you're always happy, but it's not like winning.
Okay.
3rd place is second loser.
Do you have a chance?
Yeah. I mean, we're 10-1, so and I think the favorite in our race is 4-1. So it's not like there's a huge favorite in there. I think we're the 3rd choice in there. So yeah, we've got a good chance.
All right. Would you bet on your horse, or would you just say, "Hey"?
Oh, I do bet on her.
Okay.
I don't want to jinx it.
You and Pete Rose.
If you don't believe in it, you shouldn't be here.
I know, that's exactly right, Brad. We're visiting with Brad King, and he is at the Kentucky. How many years in a row have you been to the Kentucky Derby?
Oh, this is I think our 3rd year in a row. But we if I didn't have one in, it's something that everybody should do once. But it is a massive humanity, and it's kind of a beatdown after all day of it.
You're ready to leave. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get in the
after
car.
the Derby, you're thinking it's time to go.
Yeah.
All right, I got a trivia question for you two. The Kentucky Derby first aired on CBS what year?
I would have no idea. I would say in the 60s. 61.
And it was on CBS, so it's not Wide World of Sports. So Yeah, I'd say 1970.
Okay. David finishes second. You finished third. And I won because I said 1952. That's got to be one of the first sporting events on TV.
We didn't even have TV
right.
then.
We did at our house.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't alive, but
But we didn't have a TV when I was. Yeah,
I was pretty fascinated by that.
that's a long time. It's a big deal. It's been a big deal forever. The Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We're actually staying in Lexington, and even in of course Louisville has tons of parties and different functions for the entire week, but Lexington does too. It's the state of Kentucky celebrates it, no question.
All right. Well, what will y'all do if you win? Will you stick around and party, or will you just get on the plane and come home?
No, it'd probably be a pretty good time tonight if that happens.
Okay.
Well, how did you get your horse there? Do you fly your horse there, or do you drive?
She actually ran in Arkansas in her last race.
Okay.
And
you ran her over there.
So it wasn't too far of a trip. I think it's only an 8-hour drive from Arkansas to here. So
you break it up.
And you fly, don't you? And somebody else drives the horse.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
yeah.
correct.
She's been here she's already been here for a couple weeks. So it's they don't come in just right before the race. Let them get kind of settled in and get used to everything.
Yeah. That's good thinking.
Is there anything else
Especially
special?
with all these people, they kind of got to get used to it as much as possible because the crowds just keep getting bigger as the week goes on.
All right, this is a question for David and I, because I'm going to have to guess the answer to this too, and I know you know the answer. The Kentucky Derby, how long a race is it, David?
It's 1 1/3.
I'm going to say 1 1/4.
That's right. That's right.
Well, if I'd have given him the 4 choices, he wouldn't have said 1 1/3.
I didn't, because it wouldn't have been a choice.
That wasn't one of the choices. So I'm going to say we tied on that. Was it 1 1/4?
1 1/4.
Which is the longest of the Triple Crown? The Belmont or the
Belmont? Yeah, it's
Okay.
1.5 miles, and the Preakness is actually a little shorter. It's 1 3/16 miles.
That's the one I was thinking about. That's where I got that 3
Preakness.
for third.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we'll go with.
yeah, that's the ticket.
Now, I've been there, and I cannot remember. Are there people on the inside of the track, fans on the inside of the track, or is it all on the outside of the track?
I would say it's already half full on the infield.
Okay, all right.
They're expecting right at 200,000 today.
So would that be the cheap seats on the inside?
It is. I think those tickets are actually $20 to go to the infield.
And you just stand in there? I guess you bring a blanket.
Yeah,
and sit
Those
down.
people wearing overalls, they're the cheapies in there. There's not any of those people, are there?
Oh, yeah, there's everything that you can imagine. That's what I always tell everybody makes racing so interesting to me is there's every kind of person in the world at a racetrack, from the CEOs of the biggest companies to the very bottom people. I mean, it is a true melting pot.
Well, you're still out there at Clearview, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, you bet. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, do y'all give kickbacks to the people that put out gravel?
You know what? We just give every little kid we know a pellet gun.
Yeah, a slingshot and a BB gun and say, go get them.
Yeah.
If you got a broken or
that's
chipped
right.
windshield, you need to go to Clearview Auto Glass out on 82nd Street.
Hey, name of your horse again, 6th race today.
It's a Flying Connection.
Flying
Connection.
All right, Brad.
Brad, thank
Have
you
a great
for doing
day
this.
out there.
Thank you, buddy.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, Brad King.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, now we're back for the real deal. We do a little deal a minute, and then we rejoin Midland, Odessa. So we're back with. We think that's how it works. We're not in Midland, Odessa, but I think that's how it works. But we're proud to be on down there, and don't forget you Midland, Odessa folks. There's Mighty Washes all over that area down there, and it is the car wash of the Texas Tech coaches, and it needs to be yours. Lubbock owned and operated. We try to do all locally owned. Now sometimes we get companies and they're locally owned and then they sell. and we don't know what to do because it's still the same people working there that we know, our
Good
friends.
people. Yep.
Yeah, good people. But anyway, so Frisco, is it okay? I mean, y'all like it?
When we first moved there, it was about 2,000 people and a bunch
Wow.
of cow pastures.
Yeah.
And
I've
you
been
can't
there,
find
yeah.
a piece of grass anymore. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
It's
a house
unbelievable.
everywhere.
It's just everywhere.
It's grown, and that's why we like coming out here because, like, one, the people are great. It's,
Yeah.
it's a sanctuary away from all the stuff that goes around in the world, and you guys know what I'm talking about. And it's like real good,
The woke people.
awesome people,
Yeah.
and good,
We're not woke
good
yet.
people, Christian people of faith, and
Yeah.
we enjoy our time
Still
out here.
feel like you're in a
Where did your
bubble.
boy play high school ball?
Frisco High, and they talk about mascots. Do you know what their mascot was? There's the only high school in the country.
Frankfurters.
No,
Almost.
almost.
Just a guess.
Close.
The Raccoons.
The raccoon.
We are the Raccoons.
I like it.
AKA the trash
Well,
pandas.
yes, the Trash Pandas.
the trash pan.
And it's been all the other. That's the fight of the So
Now Frisco's an affluent area.
Yes,
And why
but-
would y'all be the raccoon?
well, it's an old high school. So the story is it was one of the first train stops in in Texas or in that area north, and so they would tan raccoon hides up on the stop
At the train
at the
stop.
train
How about
stop, and so. Because
There you
I
go.
think it was established in like 1907 or something like that.
The school.
So, the high school. So that's where.
Yeah,
they
that is
became
old.
It's
and it was
old.
probably the only school in town
Yes,
for years.
yes,
And now how many
yes.
Frisco's
We
are
have
there?
like
11
I don't
high
even know
schools?
how many high schools Frisco has now.
Is that right?
It's out of control.
It's out of
I'm
control.
sure
We
it
have
really
decided
is.
to
I
be
want to
only
say like
5A?
16. maybe.
Centennial.
Are they 6A or are they trying to not
Well,
be 6A?
it was-
It started out they
5A.
only wanted to be 4A.
Now
and
which is
now
5A.
every school
They've
goes
grown
to
so
5A.
fast they can't control
Yeah,
it.
but
They keep
they-
building schools.
Yeah, but we have that Star Center, which is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So that all the kids get to play their
High school games.
their
High school football games in there.
Yes.
How many does that hold?
Oh, 12, 15.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's beautiful.
plenty.
They had the American Country Music Awards
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
again,
Last
this year
year.
they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's big enough to host
It's
stuff
big.
like that.
So it's kind of a neat experience for those kids. They get that, really nice.
What do y'all
turf
do
and
today?
indoor.
What do y'all do? Y'all work in Frisco?
Since I graduated, I've been in the software business. So I'm in sales leadership for a software company that's based in the Bay Area in San Jose. But I run local sales teams for a
Is it
company called
good?
Zscaler.
It's good, isn't it?
The stock has been amazing. Yes.
Oh, the stock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, if you think of we're cybersecurity software, so that has just, you look at all of like how we have to protect every digital
Yeah.
piece of device that we have. It's like, that's what we do.
Oh,
We make sure
okay.
that you let
Yeah.
the good stuff through, keep the bad guys out.
Yeah. Well, that's way important nowadays. What's the name of the stock? The company?
Zscaler.
What's the symbol?
Oh gosh, now you got me. I just look up ZSCALER.
Okay. Do they bonus you in stock? There you go.
That's kind of like the mantra of like software companies. You have like their salary, what they pay you, and commissions come in sales, but then you also get stock that
Yeah.
as the company grows, you get to share.
It's not
in that.
near as exciting now as it will be when you hope
That's right.
when you retire.
That's right.
Time will tell. Do you work?
I don't right now. I taught for a lot of years.
David, listen to this about her. She was on the LPGA. Yeah, LPGA. And she said when she was pregnant.
Until I was 9 months pregnant.
But then, you know what she did? She
What?
quit to
Yeah.
raise her family.
I did.
Very
Well, I
admirable.
thought I was
That
going to
is
backpack them around the country, and then that was not going to happen. I always love to see first moms when they have that first baby, and they go, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to be." You just don't know until
Yeah, but that's still.
We're
They're
very
special,
blessed that Trace
yeah.
stopped. She had a lot of offers also in media with golf and a lot of different things, and she dedicated the last 25 years of our lives with our boys, and I feel blessed for that.
That is really
Yeah.
good.
So
That's
yeah,
important too.
I think so.
Where did y'all? Did I ask you where you played high school ball? I could have.
I played at West Orange Stark down in Orange, Texas.
I didn't ask you that because I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
You
West
remember
Orange
that?
Stark.
No.
Yeah.
What were they? The Oranges?
No.
West Orange.
Mustangs.
Oh, the Mustangs.
They are the Mustangs.
They're good.
Pretty
It's a good
special,
athletic
yeah.
school.
That's a
They
special.
were very good. They
Very
very
good.
known for high school football back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah, still are
And-
a little bit.
Yeah, and baseball
And
was
his
always
coach
a
was-
great. Ronnie Anderson was our high school coach. He retired the year I graduated from high school, and he's in the Texas Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm sure
The
he was.
Texas
High school sports
Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm sure he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as good as Coach Bobby Magel, but
In fact, the first time I met Coach Magel, I think we were at one of the Hall of Fame dinners, and we were talking. I was like, "Would you happen to know Ronnie Anderson?" He goes, his eyes light up because Coach Anderson played at Sol Ross way back in the day, and they were really good friends.
He and Coach Magel?
Yes.
How about
Yes.
that?
They're like, we talk all the time.
That is great. And where did you go to school?
My junior and senior year, I was in Dallas at J.J. Pierce.
Richardson.
Yes,
Isn't that where
yes.
Bart went, Rager?
Yeah.
Bart Rager went to Pierce, I think.
Yeah, it was
And he would have
a big
been-
school. So I was like, and I moved from Arizona, so by the time I got there, I was pretty intense with my golf. So it's like how these kids are these days. Where I went to school, I went to an A hour, so I got to school about 7 in the morning, and then I was out by noon, so I could be on the golf course. So I didn't have the greatest social life. So people always like, "Oh, you went to Pierce? Do you know this person?" I was like, I didn't know a lot. I was playing golf.
What were their mascot?
They were the Mustangs.
Everybody's a Mustang.
I know it's a Mustang.
So
right?
you were raised playing golf. Then.
Yes, I grew
so
up.
Your
in
dad
a big
was a golfer.
My mom was a golfer,
Your
and
mom
my
was a
mom
golfer.
played golf in tennis at New Mexico State. So we were, big West Texas, New Mexico family, El Paso.
That's cool.
So yeah, I got to have
And
my
your
green
low score
chili.
ever was 68.
68 was competitively. I mean, there's days where you could move the ball or whatever.
Yeah.
But when the ball had to stay as it lies and everything is where it's supposed to be, 68
All of our
was like
days we
that,
can move the ball.
Yeah, I know, right? We definitely, now I'm like, I'm not hitting off this right now.
No, we're not.
I'm not going to hit this shot. Right?
All right, on your best day, Kelly, can you beat her?
No. She
Well-
has to play bad. But my best day, probably a bad day.
No, well, he's
y'all
being
can
nice. No,
stay on the
he
course.
shoots
She
in the
taught me how to play.
60s all the time. Yeah.
You shoot in the
well,
60s?
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
anymore,
No.
but at the time, in fact, when he was finally started working and playing, and I was teaching some at his company, would have a scramble, and you could, a couple
Yeah.
it was like, and they started banning. We weren't allowed to play together anymore. They were like, "This isn't fair," because we would win all this, and we were
win all
young,
the
so we were
tournaments.
like, "This is cool," because you win a bunch
were
of
young.
cool stuff. And they were like, "You're not allowed to play anymore together," and they were all upset about that. But I haven't been impressed. He's a
taught me
really
how to
good
play.
golfer.
Okay, so you can go.
Yeah, she taught me.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have
Well,
fun.
the conversation was we first started dating, and she grew up in high school playing at Glen Eagles, which has 2 courses, but there's water everywhere. And so I could hit it because of baseball. I could hit it
hit it a long
square,
way.
but it's going that way and that way and left and right. She's like, if we're going to do this, I'm going to date you. You're going to have to learn how to play.
Yeah, you got to
Keep
hit
it
in
on
the
the course.
fairway.
You
I'm
gotta
not
keep it on
looking
the
for your
course. We're not
ball all
doing
day
this.
long.
Otherwise,
I
we're
know.
not picking up.
I know.
Yes.
I was kind of like,
Yeah.
That's the way we feel when the guys play with me and Gary. They go, "We're not playing with y'all anymore. We
I'm
can't
not
find
looking for your
ball."
ball all day long.
Terry
so-
left me a long time ago if it had to do with golf.
Can't find
Without
my
a
ball.
doubt.
Well, that's
All right.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
This year's baseball season, y'all have been to a lot of the games,
Yes.
probably
Yeah.
most of them, and there's some people are ready to give up, not
Yeah.
players, not parents,
No.
but
Yeah.
texters.
Yes.
Dexter's
Yeah.
Should we give up, or should we
give up.
or should we keep trying?
Absolutely not. This club, one of the great things I'll say, and then I'll get to like the competitive side of it, is like we felt like coming out here and being the second year with Ryan and the team, is like it feels like we've got 40 kids. And we go out there, and when we come out here every week, or when we go, when we're able to make it on the road with the team and everything, we see it really as a ministry opportunity with these boys. And we come out here and we search what some, are hurting, got some bumps and bruises, and some emotionally, and we all know you
And
play.
a lot of hurts right there.
There's a
this
lot
year.
that you go through in college sports. So like we spend a lot of time like just really pouring into the boys, and we've gotten to know like so many of the families, and it's just been amazing it's been an amazing journey for us.
Yeah.
And then obviously being Tech alum and having the opportunity to see one of our boys like play and then be able to contribute at a significant level, it's just such a blessing.
It is.
And so that's kind of the core of it, and we all want to win, right? We're red and black through and through, and it would go without saying, I'd be remiss saying it's been a little bit frustrating. I know the boys are frustrated because they'll play good and then they'll play kind of mediocre. They'll play good and then it's just kind of been back and forth. But I will tell you, when these boys put it together, and we've
Everything
got
clicks.
a little time. I mean, it's
Yeah, we
getting
got a little
short,
time.
but if we put this thing together, like I was telling Ryan the other day, you kind of get into regionals and you win 3 games, and then you get into supers and you win 2 games. You win 5 games, you're in Omaha.
Yeah.
You could it's all about getting on a hot streak.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, these boys need a little inspiration and fire in them to say, hey, if we can just get hot, get into the regionals, anything can happen.
Need something good to happen. Maybe today, for example.
That's
Yes.
right.
Something good to happen.
We were hopeful the West Virginia series would kind of like put that spark. After losing 2 to Arkansas really close, the boys really did believe it. They're like, hey, we can play with anybody.
Yeah.
And you saw it there, but then what happened in
In
Kansas?
Yeah.
And last night,
we
bit
had
of
that
like,
midweek
just
game.
couldn't get anything going offensively, and then defensively we had some struggles. So it's like, that is baseball, but, that's the struggle in life that what we always told our boys, it's not what you learn when you succeed. It's the failures in baseball that make you the man that you're becoming.
Well, baseball's good for
It's a humbling
because there's
gig.
so much failure in baseball.
Yeah.
You learn to deal with it.
You learn a lot about yourself.
We're all about win or learn, not win or lose. Like win or learn. The purpose and the pain.
I like that.
So it's
good.
Put that
big
on a
thing.
T-shirt.
Yeah. So trust your stuff. And
Hey, if you put that on
Trust
a
your
T-shirt,
stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah, some
know.
royalties.
Trust your stuff.
I want some
I think
royalties.
trust your stuff should be. That's a Tadlock thing. Trust your stuff.
Well, you can use that in a lot of areas.
We're always like, Ryan, what did Coach say? Well, he said, trust your stuff.
I think
So-
trust your stuff would sell more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
I'm
I
going
like
with trust
it.
your
Yeah,
stuff.
I
because
like
it's
it.
more
It's true.
universal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all sound like an inspirational couple.
We try
for
to be.
for the kids.
It's like I said, it's that journey can be hard, and they all want not only just to do the best they can do at Tech. All these kids, they want to go play pro ball.
Yeah.
They want to move to the next level. And then we've always told our boys, like, you go chase that dream. But there's only been a handful of people in the world that walk away from baseball on their terms. The Jeters and Nolan Ryans and people like that. At some point, wherever you end up, whether it's high school to pro ball, the game ends up telling you, I don't want you anymore.
You're done.
And you got to move on.
Yeah.
And that's a little humbling. And some of these kids are going through that journey right now. And like, am I going to get to play? Is this? And helping them through that emotional journey is so important, so they can take everything they've learned and go, there's some good stuff that you learned through this. Take it to the next level.
Well, and you both seem intelligent. So Kelly, what's he going to do when he grows up?
We hate having stupid people on.
Yeah. We'd have 4 stupid people.
Then it'd be all the
Real?
stupid people.
And I think both my boys are much smarter than I am. And our oldest is in my business. He's in the software business,
Okay.
and he started that profession. Ryan, we just asked him. He doesn't know. He wants to be a baseball player right now.
Yeah.
He's
And so we
always
just
been.
asked him to get a business degree, and then you'll figure out a passion. And I think as Tracy and I talked, one of our, I think any parent's goal is to help your kid
He
find
could
their
sell
passion.
ice to an Eskimo, though. He's
a good salesman.
He's good.
Yeah,
He's
we
good.
think he'll end up being
Good with
Yeah.
people.
He's good with people. He's a very good reader of people and things. What's kind of his specialty. Even with batters, he can tell. He's very humble. He doesn't have to feel like he has to just
Yeah.
throw the ball as hard as he's always just been a more of a
He's a
technique guy.
cerebral pitcher.
Yeah. He likes to do some. He doesn't like stories. I tell when he was little, he used to drive us crazy because he'd purposely walk a guy that he didn't think he could strike out, and then pick him off at first. And he loved making all the coaches mad because they would get mad and say he balked.
Now, that's
right?
funny.
And he would sit on a little bench, and practice his pickoff move so that
Oh, there
it
you
looked
go.
like he wasn't.
Yeah.
We bought this little target bench, and he learned how to pick off without looking like. Now he didn't. And then people started making. This was when he was probably not even middle
9,
school.
10, yeah.
9, 10, 11.
Yeah, when they
He was
first
a little ornery, interesting child. He's
Yeah.
always had a different. He's always thought outside the box.
Yeah.
And
All right. Full beard. Is
Yes.
mama a
Yeah.
thumbs up or a thumbs down on the
I
beard?
think the beard looks good now that he's learned how to trim it right. Because before it just looked like he was straight out from looking in the dumpster.
From the bar.
But then he did this thing to us 2 weeks ago where he said, "All right, be ready as a surprise at the national anthem." And I thought, well, there's going to be a flyover or something.
I know what you're going to say.
And he took his hat off,
Yeah.
and there was no hair on his head. And actually I was videotaping, and there's no picture of what
He
happened.
just shaved it?
He bald. It looked like, and so we went to his house.
But still with the beard.
Beard, but yeah, it's
And then he's let the
clean.
beard grow a
But
little
the
more.
beard,
Does he have
yes.
a girlfriend?
No, and I said he'll not. They might have one after. So hopefully it's
And
gonna
he's
grow
not going
back.
to.
Well, he
Oh,
called
he's a
it.
good-looking kid.
Yeah, well, with that, he's So
Let's
it's
see.
mom and hair. We have good hair. So
Yeah.
he's just kind
I
of.
mean, he has a full head of hair.
Yes, he
Oh,
did
yes.
it as an inspiration.
Well, that's
he
like.
thought he was. You know how some guys dye their
He
hair.
had like a way full head of
So,
hair,
oh
didn't he?
yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
They
we were
got
warned.
lots of hair, but
There's lots of bald people that would kill for hair. And
yes,
he's shaving
well,
his
he
off.
did it as an inspiration for his
Oh.
team. He called it New Beginnings. So that was. I was
he
like,
didn't do it right
okay.
before the Kansas series, did he?
No, he did it right before West Virginia.
Oh,
So it
okay.
worked for
Yeah.
West
Worked.
Virginia. Yeah. So I was
Running
like,
out of things
now
to
I'm
shave,
like, yeah,
bro.
don't shave. Now it's like if shave the
Left
beard,
arm,
then he'll
right
look.
arm.
Yeah.
He might look like he's 12 again. So it's kind of So we don't know. He has his own ideas about things. We're not really,
Yeah.
but we're proud of him.
He's a kind of a different child.
Yeah. Well, he just thinks out of the box. So nothing.
All
too
his life he's
extreme.
been that way.
Yes.
And y'all would
Yes.
like to see him play some pro ball,
Well,
just for the
We
experience.
want him
For
to
him.
like for his sake
Yeah.
of that to chase that dream to say he was able
Yes.
to make a run at that. However long the Lord allows him to like do that, that would be a huge blessing. As a part of his journey.
Yep.
All right, guys.
trying to
we've-
figure out what
we've
we're gonna
enjoyed
do,
it.
Gary
We'll
and I are.
see y'all at the ball yard today. You're
Yeah.
welcome up
Thank
in
you.
the box.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Good.
Especially if
Good
it
to
starts
meet y'all.
raining.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.